I would like to call this village board meeting of August 22nd to order. Marie, would you take the roll?
President Jackson,
Excused.
Trustee Schmidt,
Here.
Trustee Sullivan,
Here.
Trustee Light,
Here.
Trustee Maritata,
Excused.
Trustee Pojek,
Here.
Trustee Schroeder.
Here.
Would everybody stand for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Of the United States of America. And to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
We'll start with announcements. How about you, Mr. Schmidt?
Thank you. I will. Glendale Heights Police Department is hosting their 22nd Citizens Police Academy beginning Tuesday, September 10th. Enrollment is free and open to citizens 18 years of age and older who live or work in Glendale Heights. Applications for enrollment can be downloaded and printed from the village website. For more information, contact the police department's non-emergency number at 630-260-6070. The next coffee with the mayor and village board is scheduled for Saturday, September 7th from 10 a.m. to noon at the Center for Senior Citizens. If you have any comments, suggestions, or questions for the mayor or village board, please call the mayor's office anytime at 630-909-5303. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. Trustee Light.
Thank you, Sharon. The Village of Glendale Heights is revving up for their 37th annual Show and Shine car shows and swap meet at Camera Park on Sunday, September 15th, from 10 a.m. to 3:30 p.m. There will be 19 classes of vehicles on display, along with the swap meet, food, and music. New this year, we will be featuring a Car Club specialty trophy. Car clubs need to have 5 cars or more show to qualify, and each vehicle must pay their own entry fee. If you're interested in registering a vehicle or signing up to be a swap meet or vendor or crafter, please visit www.glendaleheights.org/car-show to download a registration form. I'd like to see everybody come out for that. If you just finished cleaning out your basement, attic, and garage, and you're looking for a place to sell your stuff, then join us for the 15th Annual Community Garage Sale on Sunday, September 15th, from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. at Camera Park. If you have nothing to sell, then come on out and shop for bargains from many different sellers. For registration information, contact the Sports Hub at 630-260-6060.
Thank you, Mike. Clerk Schmidt.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The Glendale Heights Center for Senior Citizens is looking for medical equipment donations. The center will accept an array of equipment ranging from wheelchairs to crutches to bathroom equipment for seniors. At this time, the center is specifically looking for walking canes and quad canes. The donated medical equipment is provided to seniors who are in need. If you have medical equipment you wish to donate, please contact the Center for Senior Citizens at 630-260-6050. Thank you.
Thank you, Marie. Trustee Pojek.
Thank you, Sharon. The Village of Glendale Heights remembers Patriot Day on Wednesday, September 11th, with a silent parade of first responder vehicles, followed by a candlelight service at 7:15 p.m. on the front steps of the Village Hall. Please join Mayor Jackson, our Village Board of Trustees, police and fire personnel, neighbors and friends as our community comes together for a moment of silence and reflection on Patriot Day as we remember those we lost on September 11th, 2001. For more information, please call the mayor's office at 630-909-5303. Come out to Camera Park September 12th through the 22nd for Oktoberfest, sponsored by Schnitzelplatz and the Village of Glendale Heights. Enjoy authentic German food and drink, live bands, dancing, entertainers, and other family-friendly activities. Enter for a chance to win a trip to Germany, which will include a special brewery tour. For more information, including hours, entertainment schedule, and admission fees, visit www.glendaleheightsoktoberfest.com or call 323-577-3893. Thank you.
Thank you, Chester. Trustee Schroeder.
Thank you, Trustee Sullivan. Come on out to Heritage Park for some fishing fun on Saturday, September the 28th, from 9 a.m. until 11:30 a.m. at the annual Fishing Derby in conjunction with Harvest Fest. This is hosted by the Village of Glendale Heights, the FOP Lodge 2052, and the Glenside Fire Department Protection District. Try your luck at catching some of the trophy fishes like catfish, bluegill, and bass that live in Lake Becerra. Registration begins at 9 a.m. and the derby begins promptly at 9:30 a.m. We will conclude the fishing derby with a trophy presentation and prizes. The fishing derby is a catch and release event. For more information, please contact the Sports Hub at 630-260-6060. Thank you. Oh, I have something else.
I know, I'm waiting.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Celebrate the fall season at Heritage Park on Saturday, September the 28th, from noon to 4 p.m. at the 5th Annual Harvest Fest. Welcome autumn arrival with music, crafts, hay rides, chili cook-offs, bag tournaments, food and drinks, games, and much, much more. This fall event is fun for the entire family with activities for everyone. For more information, please contact the Sports Hub at 630-260-6060. Thank you. I'm sorry.
That's okay. Thank you, Mary. Okay, now I need a motion to recess to executive session to discuss collective negotiating matters between the public body and its employees or their representatives, or deliberations concerning salary schedules for one or more classes of employees pursuant to the Open Meetings Act, 5 Illinois CS 120/2C2. And I need a roll call vote. Oh, Trustee Schmidt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote, sorry.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, she votes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes. Okay, so we'll be
right
back.
In a few minutes.
I would like to call this village board meeting back to order from executive session, and there was no action taken. There's a public discussion of agenda items. If there's anybody in the audience who wish to discuss something on the agenda, you could step to the podium. Okay, being none, we have the consent agenda ahead of us. Trustee Schmidt,
Move we adopt the consent agenda as presented.
Second.
we need a
You'll be on the COW.
roll call vote.
Trustee Schmidt?
Yes.
Trustee Sullivan?
Yes?
Trustee Light?
Yes.
Trustee Pojek?
Yes.
Trustee Schroeder?
Yes.
Thank you. We have no old business, new business. I need a motion to waive first reading on new business items 2 to 4. Trustee Light.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Number 2, an ordinance to approve and authorize sign variations for Ruskin School at 1555 Ardmore Avenue in the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois. And this is from the 8/8/19 COW. And first reading's waived, and this will be ordinance 2019-57. Trustee Light.
So moved.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Excuse me, should we have roll call on that?
Yes, you need a roll.
Come on, roll call? Okay, sorry. Roll call.
Trustee Light,
Yes.
trustee Pojek,
Yes.
trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
trustee Schmidt,
Yes.
trustee Sullivan.
Yes. 3, an ordinance to approve and authorize sign variance for Black Hawk School at 2101 Gladstone Drive in the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois. This is also from the COW on 8/8/19. First reading is waived, and this is ordinance 2019-58. Trustee Pojek.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote?
Trustee Pojek,
Yes.
trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
trustee Schmidt,
Yes.
trustee Sullivan,
Yes.
trustee Light.
Yes.
Number 4, an ordinance to approve and authorize sign variations for Marquardt School at 1912 Glen Ellen Road in the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois. Also from the 8/8/19 COW. First reading is waived, and this is ordinance 2019-59. Trustee Schmidt.
So moved.
Second.
Roll call vote.
Trustee Schroeder,
Yes.
trustee Schmidt,
Yes.
trustee Sullivan,
Yes.
trustee Light,
Yes.
trustee Pojek.
Yes.
Number 5, an ordinance to amend Chapter 2 entitled License Fees, Chapter 5 entitled Electronic Machines and Devices, Chapter 8 entitled Adolescent Dance Facilities, Chapter 14 entitled Sale of Tobacco Products, Tobacco Accessories, and Alternative Nicotine Products of Title 4 entitled Business and License Regulations of the Village Code of the Village of Glendale Heights, Illinois, licensing and regulations of tobacco products, electronic cigarettes, and alternate nicotine products. This is also from the 8/8/19 COW, and this is first reading. Now we have public discussion of agenda items. If there's anyone from the public that wants to address the board, please step to the podium. Okay, being none, we have adjournment. I need somebody to,
Need a motion.
motion to, trustee Light.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, thank you. Trustee Schmidt.
Right. The meeting of the Committee of the Whole for August 22nd, 2019 is called to order. Will the clerk note who's present, please?
Noted.
Thank you. Are there any additions to the items to be discussed tonight? Okay. Public comment. Is there anybody in the audience that wishes to comment on any item not necessarily on the agenda tonight?
Okay.
Hi, how is everyone doing?
Could you state, the podium, state your name and address, please?
Hi, my name is Mike Murphy. I live at 1448 Circle Drive in Glendale Heights, Illinois. I'm here tonight. First, I'd like to thank the board for taking time for the residents to come and speak, as well as I think this board and the town has done a wonderful job with our parks and recreation and the senior center, the sports hub. I've noticed a big change. You guys really have taken the time, and I appreciate it, and I think the residents too. The reason I need to come up here tonight is I've lived here for 25 years, and over the years, I've seen a lot of change in the community. And at this point, the change is not good as a resident standpoint that is trying to make sure his property value is staying where it should be, and that the neighborhoods look clean and nice, and that everyone in the community has a place that they can call home and be proud of it. I'm in an area, and I'm sure there's many other residents in other areas of this town that feel the same way as I do. What sparked this for me to come up here, there was some social media chatter a couple weeks ago, and an immense amount of residents spoke out on social media about the code enforcement in Glendale Heights. And where is it? No one sees it. And I happened to comment on it, and my comment was, we need to come up here, we need to talk to the board, and slurring and bashing the board on social media doesn't get anything accomplished. We have to band together, we have to figure it out as a whole. I'm not up here to tell you you're doing a bad job. I'm up here to solve the problem. I'm here to help. And as you can see, I had a lot of residents that said they'd be at this meeting tonight. They're not here. They can speak up on social media. That doesn't work. You got to come up here. We need to talk about this, and we need to figure out how to fix it. That's how you get things done. Now, the issue with the code enforcement is particularly the garbage cans in front of the houses, and the vehicles and the trailers, the untrimmed bushes. I understand a lot of people like to say, well, you know, everyone's having financial issues. This is not a money thing. I'm not asking people to re-side their homes and put windows in them and re-roof their houses. I'm asking for a little bit of elbow grease. I'm asking about following the code and having our code enforcement enforce the code. My wife and I, we walk our neighborhood regularly, and like I said, I'm a 25-year resident. We took a walk the other night, and I've got a couple pamphlets I'm going to let you guys share. These photos were only taken on 2 streets, and that was on Armitage and Leslie. That's the route my wife and I usually walk our kids. Now, I don't have an iPhone, so I couldn't take 1,000 pictures, but I did take 10 pictures on those 2 streets, and it didn't even cover a fraction. And now I'm only talking 2 streets in this village. And I live off of Armitage on Circle Park. And I can't, like I said, this is only 10 samples, and this has not changed for over the summer. I recently called Joanne K. I'm going to call her K because Ketchabrenner, hard name. I did call her, and I had a discussion with her. She did solve one of my issues. She did do that. There was a couple other issues that I explained to her, and those issues still have not been resolved. But I'd like to pass these around to give you examples just on these 2 streets of the houses that are not following the code. Now, the code in Glendale Heights states removal of all collection and all waste containers and receptacles shall be removed from the parkway areas not later than 7 o'clock a.m. the day following collection Ordinance 2078, 10-5, 2000. Storage between collection at all times, I apologize. Storage between collections. At all times between collection, waste containers and receptacles shall be kept within each individual lot lines, either at the rear or side of the premises. Now, I didn't go to college. It says nothing about those garbage cans belong in the front of the house or adjacent to the front door, adjacent to your garage. It says on the side or the rear of the premises. I don't understand why code enforcement is not taking care of this. We have let it get out of control. We are animals and creatures of habit. If one person does it and gets away with it, the next person does it and gets away with it. Now we have a real problem on our hands because I understand the village does not have the manpower now to ticket or give a warning to every single resident. You would have to probably give out 200 citations just in my neighborhood, and I understand you don't have that manpower. So how are we going to fix this? How is it going to be fixed? That's what I want to know. And how can I help as a resident? I don't want to see this. I come home every day and I have to look at every house on my street with the garbage cans in front of their house, or vehicles parked in their backyard, not on a paved surface, trailers parked on the side of their house on the grass. I'm not the code enforcement officer, but I'd like to know, what are they doing? Why is this not being solved? 2 weeks on that front page, I talked to Joanne 2 weeks ago. Neither one of those issues have been resolved. And it's not just about my street. I'm talking for all the residents. This needs to be corrected, and I would like to help. I'd like to have you give me input. Anything I can do, all you got to do is call me. I'd be happy to help. But that's really where we're at. And if we let one issue go, now we've let another issue go. And it just keeps snowballing. And unfortunately, that makes your jobs harder. So I appreciate your time, and I hope that we can resolve this. I know it's not going to happen overnight, but we do have to make some type of change. And unfortunately, the last thing I'd like to say is, yesterday I was coming home, and my wife and I came down Fullerton. There is not one house on Fullerton across from this Civic Center that has garbage cans in view of the curb or street. I don't know if that's a coincidence or not. I don't understand it. Why are they, not one house down Fullerton where this Civic Center is or the village offices are, those are all in compliance. Not one house with a garbage can in view of the street, or a car parked on the lawn, or a trailer on the side of the house. I'm a little baffled over it. So let's work together, and I'd like to hear some feedback. You're more than welcome to call me back up to the meeting. I want to figure this out, and I'm disappointed. I was supposed to have several residents up here that all spoke of backing me, and they want to correct it, but they didn't show up because they don't have the time. Well, if they don't have the time, don't complain. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Murphy. Appreciate your comments. Is there anybody else?
Bill?
Yep.
Oh. All right.
Hello, good evening. My name is Robin Rosner. I'm at 1628 Larry Lane in Glendale Heights. I have the same issues he does, the exact same things. I've been a resident there since 1992. I moved in, seen the village change tremendously. Now, our values, he's exactly right. The values of our houses are dropping, but the properties, they're just, these people, I don't know if they're tired, if they're whatever, but we see it too. Cars parked on the grass, trailers parked in there on the side of the lawns, grass so high, weeds are ridiculous. and the code enforcement has a blind eye to it, and they just drive right by. Now, Fullerton is a main vein that goes down from Glen Ellen Road all the way to Gary, Lies. Where does Fullerton, I think it goes to Gary. Okay, so with that being said, how many times does your code enforcement come down that road and don't see the stuff that's going on? The garbage, the garbage cans, like he mentioned also. They come through the streets. Like the other day, I seen the code enforcement come down our street. We have a neighbor's house that the grass is cut, but the weeds are up to the second story of the house. And I caught him, and nobody went there to take care of this. They also have a truck in their driveway. Now, mind you, a truck in their driveway filled with all kinds of crap in it, just garbage in it, and a deep freeze on the side of the truck. Now, they're burying this with the garbage surrounding the vehicles. Okay, so I looked at that. I got 3 tickets the other day. Do you want to know what my violations were? Let me tell you what my violations were. I keep my house very nice, very nice. I work hard for my house. So I got one for a tarp. It was a canopy. I had 2 parties. He came over and he said, you can't have a carport. I said, I don't have a carport. He goes, well, that's a carport. I said, it's a canopy. I had 2 parties. I have another one coming up. Then the second one was I had a roof put on. The guy that did the roof didn't come back and get the permits to say, to release it was done. I didn't know that. I thought the company was supposed to do this. They did not. I got a ticket for that. And my son's car. We moved the car out of the driveway behind the fence for 1 day. 1 day, mind you, 1 day. We sat it on the driveway. The plates are expired. We put the car back. He gave me a ticket. He gave me a warning violation for that. So I called him. I said, well, what's the problem here? And I explained it. He said, well, the car, the tarp, the roof. I took care of the car. I took care of the roof. The canopy, I said, that is a canopy. I said, but you've got all this garbage going on in your village, and you come to me and you give me 3 violations for petty stuff, for petty. When I look at my neighbors across the street from me, that grass is up to here, the weeds are high, but nobody's doing anything. But your code enforcement, again, has a blind eye. What can we do? What can you folks do? What can you do for us, is the question. How much more can people come up here and ask you to help us clean up this town? You see it all over. Yes, some parts of towns are worse and some parts are better, but you guys, you have ordinances. If you're not going to enforce your ordinances, why have them, Why have them? And your code enforcement guys, they just drive by all the time. They drive by all the time. They don't even pay attention. People put their garbages out at 3 o'clock, and I think there's 6:30 is the garbages, I think. They can go out to the curb. You have people doing that too. Well, like he said, one does it, they follow. Everybody continues to follow. So I'm asking too the same thing. And they said on social media that the people would be here to back him up, to say that this is a problem in our town. And nobody showed. I was shocked. I was completely shocked. But I said I would, because I have the same thing. Now, if I go to sell my house, when they come down the street, I have 5 houses on my block that are actually horrible, horrible. That if you come down here, and when we're selling, and you come down the street and you see these 5 houses, they're going to be like, do I want to move in with these? Do I want to move there? Why would I want to live next to a mess if they're not caring about their houses? And then they look at my tax bill and they're like, oh, heck no, we're not moving. We're not buying that house. What's my odds of my selling my house? It's going to be pretty slim. So again, the code enforcement, where are they? Where are the code enforcements? And what are they doing about it? He's absolutely right. What can you guys do, and why can't you enforce your own codes? It's a big question. Grass, leaves, garbage, trash, cars, whatever it is, trailers, whatever it is, it doesn't cost money to pick up and clean up. It doesn't cost money to do that. It just doesn't. So what can you guys do for us? What is going to be done? You've been addressed. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Rosner. Trustee Schroeder, did you have a comment?
Do you know what? I do remember us having this discussion that the garbage containers should not be exposed to the front of the house, that they were either to be to the side or in the garage. Am I the only one that remembers this?
No.
Yeah,
You remember
Joanne
that?
can answer the code, that question.
Sure. So the code does indicate that the garbage cans must be on the side or rear of the house, but we have several instances throughout the community where there is not an ability to get to the side. So the interpretation was made many years ago that it can't be any closer than the frontmost part of the house. So we have some houses that are U-shaped and some that are L-shaped, and the interpretation was made that if it's behind the frontmost part of the house, that has been acceptable. We could certainly revisit the issue, but that has been the interpretation.
I think that came up with some of the quad houses, like up on Maryland and so on, that where the center units were not able to easily hide their cans.
Correct, that and some of the houses that have the depressed driveway, so there's no way to get the garbage can up around the side.
Okay.
So there are some unique circumstances, so that was the interpretation that was made back at that
Okay.
time.
Perhaps the ordinance committee should re-examine this. Okay. Are there any other public comments? Anybody else want to address the board? Okay, then we'll start with discussion regarding a presentation from Enterprise Fleet Management.
Trustee Schmidt and the board, thank you very much. I'm here to introduce Drew Kellogg. Drew is with Enterprise Fleet Management. We have been working, the police department and the village has been working with Drew, and he's got 2 other team members here to work with him and Enterprise on the purchase of police fleet of our new police vehicles. We have an opportunity with the use of Enterprise and their fleet management services to really bring some efficiencies to our fleet management and to really get us some reduced pricing and overall cost effectiveness and efficiencies within our fleet management program to save taxpayer money, to really help our budget moving forward over the course of a 10 to 20 year period, and to get us the vehicles that we need in a more timely and efficient fashion, so that we're not holding cars for 6, 8, or 10 years and returning cars over every 4 to 5 years. So I'll leave that part of the presentation to Drew, but we've been doing a lot of work with Drew and his team with Enterprise, and he's got a overview of how this will affect the police department.
Hi, my name's Drew Kellogg. I work for Enterprise Fleet Management. I guess first of all, I just want to thank everybody for their time tonight. What we'll do is I'll run you through just a quick presentation, just kind of give a general background of who we are, what we do, who we work with, and kind of how the program works. And then from there, we can get into some of the analytics, I guess, that we've put together over the course of the last 6 months or so. So Enterprise Fleet Management, we're the sister company of Enterprise Rent-A-Car. I think most people here probably know Enterprise Rent-A-Car. In the government space, we manage about 900 different government clients. We manage about 60,000 vehicles. In total, between us and Enterprise Rent-A-Car, we manage about 2 million vehicles. So we have a lot of experience just buying and selling vehicles. And there's about 22,000 vehicles that are under a government lease. In terms of purchasing cooperatives that we work with, Sourcewell, TIPS, and E&I. About a year ago, Sourcewell, which the village is a member of, released an RFP for fleet management. Right? They pulled all of the other leasing companies in this world of fleet management, and we won the bid for the most cost-effective fleet management company within that bid. Here's who we work with today. This is one of the faster-growing segments of our business. We just brought on Geneva. I think a lot of this discussion came from a lot of the articles that came out of Crystal Lake. We have quite a few vehicles with Romeoville, Algonquin, Round Lake Beach. We do a lot of county work with the city of Chicago, North Chicago, and so on. So everything that we're going to talk about tonight is everything acquisition through disposal. So we'll help you source vehicles And when we go out and source vehicles, like if we need a truck for Public Works, or we need a squad unit, or a vehicle for code, or whatever, we'll run a lot of analytics on these vehicles to make sure that we're sourcing the vehicle that's got the lowest holding cost. So we'll look at Ford, we'll look at Chevy, we'll look at Ram. We work with all the different manufacturers. We'll provide a line of credit as well that all these vehicles would fall on. A lot of the talk tonight is going to be about turning the fleet over quicker than what we've traditionally done in the past. In most instances, we'll be running vehicles for 5 years, if not less. And really what all this talks about, or I guess really what we center this around, is that the used car market's very strong, and you guys buy vehicles very well. And traditionally, you don't drive a ton of miles. So that's kind of the perfect storm for driving down your total cost of ownership. We have maintenance and fuel programs. We'll talk about resale. That's a huge piece of the pie. I think right now, traditionally, when we get rid of vehicles, they're probably not worth much. The useful life is depleted. We want to figure out, hey, when is it the most cost-effective time to get out of these vehicles? We'll do all the aftermarket, so we can utilize local vendors or use your existing vendors to upfit vehicles. So when we deliver a squad or a patrol vehicle or a code vehicle or a Public Works truck, it's already upfitted and done. We'll coordinate all that, do all the license and title, and then we have like risk management programs and driver safety programs as well. So this is what we want to find. We want to find out, when does it make the most financial sense to get out of a vehicle, right? So when you buy a vehicle, it depreciates. That's that yellow line. But as that vehicle gets older, we start running into higher fuel and higher maintenance costs. I think we could probably all agree that older vehicles cost more to operate from a maintenance and fuel perspective than newer vehicles do. So we want to find that little circle right there of, hey, when does it make the most financial sense to get out of a vehicle? And with a lot of our industry expertise and the data that we've seen, it's a lot sooner than what you may think. So what we'll do, you're going to hear the term, and you've probably seen it in the packets, but we're going to use, we're a leasing company, so we write everything on a leasing contract, but there's no over mileage or wear and tear penalties or anything like that with the way we structure the lease. It's really just a finance. We put it on a leasing contract because we're not a dealership. Basically what it is it's a finance. So today you pay cash. So if it's a $25,000 vehicle, you write a check for $25,000 and you have the vehicle. A traditional finance over 5 years, if it's a $25,000 vehicle, you pay $5,000 per year. What we do is that option 3. So if we have a $25,000 vehicle and we know we're going to get out of it at a certain point in time, let's just say 5 years, what we'll have you do is we'll have you pay that vehicle down to a reduced book value. So maybe we call it $5,000. At the end of 5 years, you have the option for us to sell that vehicle for you. If we sell that vehicle for you and that vehicle's worth $15,000, but you owe Enterprise $5,000, Glendale Heights takes the equity, so you guys would take the 10. Does that make sense? So you guys have all the equity rights within the vehicles. And you'll see that break-even point is very quickly, or happens very quick. This is talking about maintenance programs, if we have maintenance programs that can provide some oversight. And then this slide right here, basically what we looked at is a bunch of different vehicles within the government space in Illinois, and we looked at what is the average term, what is the average mileage, and the monthly depreciation. I'll show you right here. Hopefully everybody can hear me. I'll talk loud. So this is Kenosha Unified School District. They've been a client of ours for quite some time. If you look at the average year, you got anything from a 2011 to 2013 Chevys. Their Silverado. Oh, thank you. That works pretty good. They're Chevy. They're a mix of Chevy and Ford vehicles. Chevy Express cutaways, Chevy Express or Silverado 2500s, 3500s. So these aren't small vehicles. These are big, public work trucks, that kind of stuff. We looked at the average months in service. On average, these vehicles were in service for about 5 years. The ending mileage was anywhere from 15,000 miles to 40,000 miles, which is pretty typical in the government space. We typically see these types of vehicles go about 5,000 to 7,000 miles per year. The capitalized amount, this is the purchase price of these vehicles. And then we looked at what do we sell these vehicles for with that mileage and at that term. And then we boil it down to an effective depreciation. So long story short, what this is telling us is that, hey, we can turn over vehicles a lot quicker than maybe what we've done in the past. And our average effective depreciation for these vehicles is $112 per month on a 1-ton truck with a big service body on it. And the reason why is because, again, you guys buy vehicles so well, the used car market's very strong. We can turn these things over a lot quicker, and it's more cost effective. And in the meantime, when we do that, we've done probably a couple oil changes and maybe some tire rotations. We actually did this for Algonquin as well. So we just brought on Algonquin over the last 12 months, and we put a program in place for a department of theirs, I believe it was the code department, to where they're going to lease Silverado pickup trucks, half-ton pickup trucks. There's almost a $12,000 incentive on these vehicles, and then they're going to run them for 6 months, and then we're going to sell them for more than what they bought them for, so it's free money. And then they're just going to keep leasing these vehicles for 6 months and just keep turning them over because the market is dictating that we can sell these vehicles for more than what they bought them for at 6 months. When you partner with Enterprise, we're not just going to lease you a bunch of vehicles and then walk away. We're in it for a long-term partnership. I focus a lot on new business. But these two gentlemen back here, these are our two sales managers. They work with a team of account managers. So we'll implement an account manager to Glendale Heights to where we're overseeing this stuff to make sure that we're running these vehicles as efficiently as possible. So part of the analysis that I did with Doug is we looked at a snapshot of the fleet, and that's what this Glendale Heights fleet profile is. We profiled out all the vehicles. We looked at the mileage. We looked at the average age. We look at your purchase history. So you have 11 vehicles. If my eyes are that good. You have 11 vehicles that are over 10 years old. And then those 2013s, 2015s, 2017s, a lot of those purchases were probably patrol units. But on average, the fleet is about 6.4 years old, and then we're going about 7,000 miles per year. So what we'll do is we'll implement a program that a program that'll allow you to get more vehicles with less cash, and then we'll help you manage a more sustainable replacement program. So like Doug said, on patrol vehicles, we'll be rolling those vehicles in and out of service probably every 4 years. Public work pickup trucks or park district trucks, we'll be running those vehicles every 3 to 5 years, whatever makes financial sense. We're always going to give the recommendation based on what the numbers tell us and what the data tell us, but it's always your decision in terms of, hey, does it make sense to replace this vehicle now? Should we run it longer, or so on? So after we profiled the fleet, we did a fleet planning analysis. I'm not going to go through this in depth, but really what I want to show you is when you look at like years 2022 and year 2023, as we start implementing this program village-wide, you're going to see in the lease column that your lease costs are going to start to go up. But then we're going to start dropping all the operational expenses. We're going to start dropping our fuel expense. We're going to start dropping our maintenance expense because newer vehicles cost less to operate. And then you'll see the turn in year 2020, like 2023, you'll see your lease cost peak out at about $150,000 or so, and then they drop down. And the reason is because at that point, we're going to start getting out of vehicles at the right time to where these vehicles are worth a significant amount more money than what you owe on them. We'll capture that equity, and then we'll just keep rolling the equity into the new vehicle, and that just starts driving down your lease cost. So in this example, that 10-year savings, fleet-wide, we can save the village about $180,000 over the course of this program, and all the vehicles will essentially be less than 5 years old. So then with working with Doug and his team, this is kind of where we wanted to start. This is where we think it made the most financial sense. Where this is basically just a cash flow analysis for the utility interceptors and an F-250 or F-150. And basically what this just shows you is this just shows you, hey, if we were going to go out and pay cash for a vehicle, what does that cost versus what does it look like if we put it on our funding program? And you can see we can basically source 5 vehicles for $72,000 in year 1 because there's some upfit and aftermarket money that goes in there. But basically we can get 5 vehicles for the price of like 1.5 vehicle. So from a cash flow perspective, you preserve cash, you can use it in other areas, and then it helps, keep the fleet current and keep it, within a healthy life cycle. So I kind of ran through that pretty quick, but does anybody have any questions that I can answer?
So, if I may, what the Vehicle Replacement Committee was looking at, and Doug's suggestion was excellent in taking a look at the enterprise leasing program. Right now, we replace our vehicles on a traditional method. We look at the vehicle. When the vehicle looks like it's time, with the amount of miles, the wear and tear that's on it, we'll go ahead and replace the vehicle. We pay the full replacement cost of the vehicle, and we attempt to sell it via an auction site. Right now, we currently have 3 police vehicles budgeted for the current fiscal year that we're in, and we have, I'm looking at Doug for this one, $145,000 budgeted for that. And as you can see with the option that's been brought forward, you could do 5 vehicles for half that. So that's what obviously piqued our interest, and the reason that we brought it to the board today was to see if this was something that the village board would be interested to see us pursue further. Obviously, there's a lot more that needs to go into this. There are other companies that do leasing of municipal vehicles. Enterprise has been great in coming forward with giving us a lot of this background. We would need to go through a process, and I look to my left and look at Darcy, our purchasing agent, for that. But she has told us that there are processes that we may need to go through for that. Essentially, we're kind of looking for a little direction from the board if it's something that is interesting to you and you'd like to see us pursue further, or if you'd like us to stick with the traditional method of us replacing our vehicles.
Trustee Light?
Well, I got many questions. I looked at this earlier. My first question is, these different vehicles, you're talking different vehicles. We're not talking just Ford anymore. We're talking Chevy, Ford, whatever comes across. Maintenance-wise, we maintain our own vehicles here. It costs us more to stock different parts. It costs us more to bring in different parts that we're going to need for all these different vehicles. In the long run, it's going to cost more just to keep them maintained. I don't like that idea. That idea kind of killed me. I look at like the hybrid stuff.
So, Trustee Light, they would purchase whatever the recommendation is that we ask them to purchase.
Okay, so we can control
Oh,
all
absolutely.
the purchases.
Yes.
All right,
We
so,
control all that.
because he was talking, we were going to rotate through different pricing.
No,
As long as
no,
we're looking
he
for pricing,
made an
it's gonna come
example, but
down.
we control what the purchase is.
'Cause
For law enforcement, we wouldn't do anything other than Ford Explorers.
Yeah. I was looking at this hybrid. I deal with these all the time. Fleets will need special training, special tools, one designated zone just to maintain these vehicles. It'll take an immense amount of space to do this, plus with all the constant cost of the specialty gloves and everything else that you have to have by law in order to maintain these vehicles, plus
So-
different electronic equipment and all the other stuff we need just for these vehicles.
So I talked to Paul,
Okay.
fleet supervisor. He was at a training class, or he's at a show on Tuesday, and he was told that you don't need any brakes, tire rotations, oil changes, not a problem.
Right.
Anything other than that goes to the dealer.
Okay. So basically, it would be more or less just a complete wash on that part of it.
Basic maintenance is not a big deal. Our mechanics can do all the basic maintenance. Oil changes, tire rotations, brakes.
Right.
Anything that is having to do with the engine or the battery goes to Ford.
Right. 'Cause I've dealt with these before, and they can be a complete and total nightmare.
Can I, comment on that question?
Yes, go ahead.
Is that fair? Okay. So with the replacement recommendations that we would have, outside of the police fleet that drives a lot of miles, the rest of the fleet doesn't. So with stocking different parts and whatnot, if on average, and we see it every single day when we talk to different municipalities, if a municipality on average outside of the police fleet is going 7,000 miles per year, that's pretty high. It's usually around 5. And if we get out of vehicles in 5 years, that means we're going to be getting out of a vehicle that's 5 years old with 25,000 miles on it. At most, we would be doing an oil change per year and maybe a tire rotation. So we really want to drive this model to be living in the world of preventative maintenance. So, maybe we'd be stocking a different oil filter or whatnot. But for the most part, the maintenance expense is going to be pretty low.
And just semi-synthetic oils or full synthetics, whatever the vehicle calls for has to. I know they have to be maintained to a certain spec.
Yep.
You also talked about this no wear and tear. Now, I've dealt with fleet vehicles before. I'm in the automotive profession, and I've seen people panic when it comes time to return a leased vehicle. It's like a diminished value. You are going to lose something for every scrape, ding, or dent. Now, you say there's no wear and tear. You ever seen a fleet vehicle after it's been used really good?
Got about 25,000 of them on lease.
Yeah, and you look like it and you go, holy cow, we got to fix this thing just to sell it. Where do those costs come out of? Those are going to be our pocket to repair that?
So we don't charge. There's no on the actual lease. That's more of a closed-end lease, right? When you go to a dealership, you lease a vehicle, you pay 10 cents per mile over the term or anything like that. That's more of a closed-end dealership or a closed-end dealer lease. Ours is really just a finance. So where you will see that, and you're going to see this with or without us, is if you lease a truck or you source a truck through us, right? At the end of the term, it's got 40,000 miles on it, and it's missing 2 doors. Then that truck's probably not worth $19,000 anymore. That truck is worth $18,000 or $17,000. So you'll see it on the resale side, but a lot of instances like that are going to be more of like an insurance claim or anything like that. When we put values on cars, we have a lot of vehicles like in the oil and gas industry and in northwestern Indiana and the steel mills. We understand that trucks are going to get beat up, especially patrol units. But again, though, everything that we do, this is our business. We know that these things are going to be in rough shape, and we appraise them pretty conservatively.
Now, I know, will we have, I've kind of answered the question, was with speccing the vehicles. We'll still have to, per se, spec the vehicles. We're not getting our hands washed to that. We're still going through saying, this is what we need. So it's not saving us anything in that time-wise, from speccing a vehicle.
What it does save us, though, is they do all the upfitting. They take all the transportation. They take the car to the upfitter. They deliver us a car that is completely done.
Right. Now, do we have control of these outfitters that are taking care of us? I know in the past we have used certain people that we've got a great working relationship. We can
Same
still
people.
say with these people?
Yes.
Yes.
Right, so that's not changing anything there. So
Right.
this is just doing something that we normally do, paying someone else to do it. Personally, I'm not in favor of this program at all. I don't like it. I see a lot that I just too many questions with it. I like being able to say that we can turn around and sell our vehicles. F-150s, 250s, they hold a great value. I've seen some of our stuff go for a pretty decent penny. I think it works out well. I don't like the program personally, but I'm just one vote.
Trustee Pojek?
First of all, I think there's going to be a lot of paperwork involved in this. I don't know who's going to handle it, that end or your end. But Doug, remember when we were redoing the police department, I was on the committee that we toured about a dozen different police departments. We were writing down pros and cons for we should do this, we don't do this. Do you think it'd be wise to contact some of the other villages that were listed up here and see what kind of pros and cons that they have? Any issues that they liked, issues they did not like?
Yes.
I think it'd be to our advantage to contact some of them.
I agree.
Agree?
Yeah.
Okay. Maybe a little committee or something, your department or executive staff.
The vehicle replacement committee is where this has been
So I
discussed.
just don't like to jump into the fire right from the get-go, and all of a sudden you're scratching your head.
Yeah, that we have the Vehicle Replacement Committee who's moving forward with this pilot of, with Enterprise, but we can certainly move in that direction.
Thank you.
We're certainly not, all of our questions aren't answered completely.
Yeah.
But as we were moving forward through this, we felt that it would be a good point to come to the board and see if it was something that you were interested in. And if you are, we'll continue to move forward with it, because there still are a lot of things that we still need to look into and get answers for. Trustee Light has brought forth a lot of information and questions, and has expressed his concerns. And, I think that's what we're looking for from the board. If the board sits here tonight and says this is not something that we're interested in, then Vehicle Replacement Committee knows that we will just stop. But if it is something that you're interested in entertaining, then we'll continue on until enough questions are answered to know whether or not this is the right way for us to go.
Yeah, because all these figures look nice on paper and that, but in reality, what's the bottom line?
Right now with the presentation, I don't know that we know what questions we need to be asking. So I would think that it would be wise to at least provide us with some more information, some more background. Now, does anybody else on the board have a yes or no?
I feel the same. I feel like we don't know enough about it, and I don't want to jump into the fire from the frying pan yet. I feel like there's a lot more that we have to know about it before we go into something like this.
Okay, if I propose that executive staff continue on and examine the program a little bit more and come back in the future and report to us, how many of you would agree with that?
Definitely.
I'd go for that.
Can I just, how come we decided to do something like this? Like, do we have,
Because it's a overall cost benefit to the village and the residents, and
Oh, okay.
we can turn cars over more efficiently, and we can save money doing it.
okay. What happens to the cars that we have now?
We sell
Just
them.
sell them? Okay.
Yeah, we would.
So we would be supplied with all brand-new car, all different cars?
Well,
Or it's a pilot.
It would happen slowly. This year, we may end up with 4 or 5 cars for the police fleet. So those 4 or 5 would be there. We would turn over 4 or 5 cars. Next year would be another 4 cars. The year after that, another 4. So as we move through this, it would be slowly. It wouldn't be a wholesale, all new cars.
Yes.
So nothing really changes for us. We still have our maintenance guys, and they fix the cars.
The mechanics, yes. And this originated from the police departments because many police departments are moving in this direction.
Well, we're also in need of 5 vehicles. We can afford 3.
Yeah.
This program allows us to get 5. So
Just-
that's where
Yeah,
we're looking
just
at cost
curious
savings.
why we want to change
We're
our
we're
system.
looking at cost savings, we're looking at efficiencies, we're looking at ways to save money, right? And in the time of budget, this is a pretty significant cost savings, year 1 and year 2 of keeping money in the budget to either be used somewhere, go back into savings, or, buy more equipment.
Is this strictly for police vehicles or
We are going to be,
fleet for
so
maintenance?
if approved, we're going to be the test for the village to see if this works out to move village-wide.
Okay.
Moving forward,
Yeah, I have
so
a
what we could
open
do
mind.
is have a representative, have a trustee be on the Vehicle Replacement Committee that's analyzing how to move forward, and then also suggesting a special meeting to discuss this, and to make sure that we are answering all questions before moving forward.
Okay. Trustee Light, your opinion?
My opinion,
Okay.
I'm not for it at all, but I'll listen to the information. There's going to be a whole lot of questions to be answered, to even sway my direction. So,
All right.
let's hear it.
Trustee Sullivan.
Dig in deep.
You want to learn more than we know right now?
Oh, yeah.
Okay, then Executive
I'm not
staff
completely
is
out, so.
directed to prepare some more information for us.
Okay,
Okay.
continue to move forward. Thank you.
Okay?
Thanks for your time.
Thank you. Okay, the next item is the proposed annexation of 1.65 acres on North Avenue, ML Realty Partners. Ms. Couchbrenner?
Thank you. Emerald Realty Partners has a proposal before you. It is the next item, I'm sorry, 2 items further on the agenda. They are consolidating 13 lots. Majority of the lots are currently within the Village of Glendale Heights, but there are some lots, 1.65 acres, that are unincorporated. In order to move forward with the development, they need to annex this property, and then you can consider the overall rezoning and conditional use further on this evening.
Would you like to make a presentation?
Sure, I'm just give a brief one. Tim Geisler with ML Realty Partners. Just want to say we're a long-term owner of commercial real estate. We have roughly 14 million square feet of real estate in the Chicago market and in Dallas. As a long-term holder, we rarely sell our buildings. So with that, we try to build a high-quality, not a cheap building. We focus on aesthetics and on landscaping. And we try to, quote-unquote, future-proof our buildings. It's one thing that we really put a lot of time and effort into planning for the future and trying to make sure that these buildings don't become obsolete. With that, we're glad to be in Glendale Heights. Staff has been extremely supportive and great to work with, and we look forward to being a good long-term corporate citizen. I know all the information's in your packet. If you'd want me to get into the building, I can give you more detail, pretty much what's in the packet, but if there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer those.
Okay.
I think it's coming up on your agenda again. Excuse me for interrupting.
Okay.
But it's going to come up again under item 2 under committee recommendations, the zoning.
Right.
So this is really just the annexation. The board's supportive of the annexation. If there were any questions about the zoning or the building, that would be probably item 2.
Okay.
Committee recommendations.
Guess I can be back then, yeah. All right. Any
All
questions?
right, then we'll wait for your presentation later on in the schedule. So somebody, we'll hold off on the annexation recommendation until we do the proposal or the presentation from the Plan Commission. Okay, we have committee recommendations. Plan Commission recommendation to approve an application for conditional use in the I Industrial PUD District to allow a automobile internet/online sales business with ancillary automobile laundry and detailing, and to allow outdoor storage of up to 10 automobiles associated with the business located at 11 North Brandon Avenue. This was Trusted Auto Brokers. Would you like to make a presentation?
Okay.
Does anybody?
No.
Trustee Sullivan?
Just move it to the board with a recommendation to concur.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Okay. Easy.
You're welcome.
Okay. Number 2, Plan Commission. A recommendation to approve the applications for the property located at 760 East North Avenue, located on the north side of North Avenue at the corner of North Avenue and Glenrise Avenue. Number 1, rezoning of 13 total parcels, 7 parcels from AE Agricultural and Estate District, 4 parcels from C2 Community Commercial District, and 2 parcels from C3 General Commercial District, all to BP Business Park District. 2, plat of re-subdivision to consolidate the properties from 13 parcels of land into 1 parcel located on the north side of North Avenue at the corner of North Avenue and Glenrise Avenue. And 3, obtain a conditional use for a planned unit development, including 3 deviations from the village zoning ordinance. That's from ML Realty Partners again. Ms. Kalchbrenner.
As we talked about earlier the proposed annexation of the 1.6 acres, and then that would make this development proposal. The Plan Commission did consider it last week and did make a recommendation of approval with several conditions, that it generally comply with the site plan. So the proposal is similar to the Venture One proposal with the BP zoning district with a higher percentage of glass, so 20% of glass, higher landscaping standards that exceed the code, an increased landscape setback along North Avenue. So this is the property west of Ramada Inn that's currently has some homes and a West Lighting contractor's office at that location. So the applicant is here this evening to answer any questions, or if you'd like, make a presentation.
Okay. Do we have any questions from the board?
Well, I just want to make sure one of the conditions are that we really don't approve of trucks that idle.
Correct. Yep.
So we just want to
Right. I
make sure
believe.
that you know that.
Yeah, there's Glendale Heights has an ordinance. We're accustomed to working within that. So, yep.
Okay. Thank you.
Absolutely.
Okay. Any other questions? Okay. May I have a motion? Trustee Sullivan.
Move it to the board with a recommendation to concur.
Second.
Okay, any further discussion? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? All right, on the way to the board.
Okay. There's one additional item. Is this a good time to bring up, Joanne?
Acceptable?
Yes.
Okay, so there's one additional item that I'd like to bring back, just completely transparent here. We missed requesting one deviation. So we are going to come back in a month or so, or whenever it makes sense to come back through this. But there was one deviation that was missed when we submitted this the first time, when we brought it to planning and zoning. Due to our time and our contracts with the residents that we have under contract, we would like to get this thing pushed through or passed today, but we will come back for this additional deviation. I just want to mention the deviation to you, just to see if there's any opposition to it. So,
It's not our practice. So you really, if you ask the board to give you an opinion about that, we're really precluding the Plan Commission from doing their job.
Right.
So really, it's nice of you to mention you're going to come back.
Okay.
And you might even want to describe the deviation if you wish, but to ask the board to give an opinion about it would be inappropriate.
okay, just again, to complete transparency, I just want to explain the deviation to you, just so you know when it comes back, this is why we're coming back. The building setback requirement in the BP district, and Joanne, step in here if I misrepresent this or if I don't say this properly, is 50 feet when adjacent to a residential property, with an additional 2 feet for every 30 feet that the building is, for 2 feet with the.
Do you want me to jump in?
Yes.
Okay.
Jump in.
The setback is 50 feet, provided that the building is at 30 feet. For every 1 foot of building height over 30 feet, there's an increased setback of 2 feet. So if the building is 31 feet in height, the setback needs to be 52 feet. So that's the issue, that they would like a building higher than 30 feet. The maximum in the BP district is 75 feet for building height. So it's not a height deviation, it's a setback deviation, just based on the increased setback due to an increased height.
Because there's
Be
residential.
determined by the Plan Commission, they'll approve it.
Right, so the Plan Commission will need to, need to be
Right.
another public
Yes.
hearing in the Plan Commission, right. But we talked about it, and the applicant just didn't want the board to think that he was pulling a fast one.
Right.
So we wanted to make sure you knew that it was an issue, and he would be coming back forward.
Just realize that the deviation is noted but not acted on
Correct.
by the board.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. That's all I wanted to say. We will be back. I'll see you guys again. So just wanted to make sure everybody was aware of that. So
Great.
I think that's it, right? No other. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Anybody else have anything they wish to discuss? Otherwise, may I have a motion? Trustee Light,
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
any? Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Adjourn.
Very good. Good night, guys.